Yo, what is up, guys? This is Enemy Stand User, and today we have another banger chapter that Gigi left for us with chapter 167, Tokyo Number 2 Colony Part 7. And we have a whole new outlook on the Culling game and how it's progressing, and some potential wild ideas that Gigi left for us. And at the end, and please do stay to the end of the vid to hear my theory on Kenjaku's involvement in the Culling game and the future of humanity as well in Jujutsu Kaisen. Things are really starting to kick into gear as the Culling game is in effect, so let's get right into the chapter. Chapter 167 starts off with the conclusion of Yuji and Higuruma's interaction when Higuruma agreed to share his points and to add the new rule allowing players to exchange points with one another. The Kaguin agreed to add the new rule number 10, and that rule being added was a huge relief to Yuji after all the struggle he went through, and Higuruma then shares his points with Yuji, letting their techniques and their lives last another 19 days until it's reset. Higuruma then takes his leave, but Yuji suggests that the sorcerers could actually use his help in handling the game, but Higuruma feels now that he has to really face his actions and to turn himself in once the craziness and all this barrier is up, and he really contemplates what he's going to do until then. But he also wouldn't really feel right being by Yuji's side now that he has returned to his roots and he sees the person that Yuji is. But I really think that Yuji and Higuruma, I really like how their relationship is and how it came to be, and they do have an understanding with one another, and I would even say they have a bit of a friendship in sharing. I guess you could say they're sharing in that darkness, so to speak, because both of them, they did kill people, but they do have good hearts in the end. But moving on from that, we are back at Megumi's side of things. Oh, we're back with Reggie, Walmart Sanji. You pass. Huh? That's enough. I can tell that your Shikigami is quite something. You're strong. If you were weak, I'd just have an easy target to kill. What? He's never mentioned this to me before. What do you mean? How much do you know about the Culling game? But you're good. Come on. You should ally with us. It's a ritual that takes advantage of cursed energy belonging to players inside the barrier. I'll keep quiet about Tengen-sama. To cross the people of Japan to the other shore. You didn't have to cut me off. Think like it never happened, that we were nothing. I don't even need your love, but you treat me like a stranger, and I feel so. In the process.
Really makes you think.
Okay. That's some pretty deep shit. That's pretty deep right there. I knew it was sparking like a dark evolution to cross the people of Japan to the other shore, turning them non-human in the process. That is wicked. That's awesome. Well, not for them, but that's an awesome concept. You friends with Kenjaku or something? How does he know all this? How? I thought there'd be one. A sorcerer who's colluding with Kenjaku. So this dude Reggie is pretty deep in terms of how well he knows about the Culling game and what's going on with Kenjaku, even stating that the initial understanding of the game that was initially using cursed energy from players, it was all a facade or like a cover-up and not the main plan. Reggie thinks based on the number of players, the players' ability as sorcerers, and the barrier rules that they serve an ulterior purpose for the Culling game. So in the 10 colonies, 100 people in each colony, there resides players with exceptional skill as sorcerers like Hajime and Higuruma, who have big body counts already taking out 60 sorcerers altogether. So maybe each colony has its own sort of prodigy, like what we have been seeing with these newly awakened players, that some are stronger than others. So right now the game possibly could be in a sort of deadlock where only the strong remain, at least in a few colonies like this one, and the permanence in the rules are only a cover-up because of how the game actually turns out and plays. The players who do not catch up are ultimately killed from stronger players, or they're killed from like subtle mechanics like the teleportation spawn that occurs. So this all these things have been in motion ever since the game was kicked off. I'm certain Kenjaku will drop a bomb after there's only the strong ones left. What is he meeting with the... Who is he meeting with? Sit down, said in Chinese. The UN? What is... Who is he meeting with? Oh my gosh. Uh-oh, I missed it. And the Culling game will have fulfilled its role. He just wants everyone to kill each other. The strong ones left. Is he meeting with the UN or something? Thanks for inviting me. We are then in a segment where we see Kenjaku meeting with the Chinese government, or like the higher ups. As Reggie states, Kenjaku will drop a bomb only when the strong remain in the game and the Culling game fulfilled its role. So Kenjaku is always like 12 steps ahead of everyone else. It has a measure in mind taking place to make sure his plans go off without a hitch with this bomb. And I believe this quote-unquote bomb is not a physical bomb, but something of an event, or something like a release of like a character or something. And bear with me here and put your tinfoil hats on, because I have some really wild theories in my overview toward the end. But the chapter continues as Reggie goes on to explain that this bomb could already be in effect. So Reggie is now building up more of his allies and his own group and stacking up his own points to use in the game. Megumi then has a little bit of a funny moment concerning Remy and her involvement in all of this. Oh, she's just bait, chosen randomly to lure the players, since they are less cautious towards women. And once she's useless, you can kill her and turn her into points. What are you saying? I would never do that. Reggie-sama is my true knight. He'll protect me as long as I devote myself to him. Remy, you belong to the streets or something.
He belongs to the streets.
Remy is something else. You simpleton. Do you and your friends have 100 points combined? So Megumi, now with all this info, he grows impatient and demands Reggie to hand over all of his points. Then he would consider his offer to join that group. But now, with negotiations failing, one of Reggie's lackeys pops up and rushes Megumi, which backfires as we see Megumi dip into his shadow and overpower this henchman, and releases both Nue and Totality, slamming the lackey to the ground and kind of flexing his own power over Remy, telling her to get lost. But we now see Totality is taken down by Reggie with his knives, which is kind of nuts because Totality can even damage special grade curses like Hanami. So Reggie has something going on with his own curse technique. But Reggie stated that Megumi, he seemed kind of on the fence about killing them since he wants their points, but unless Megumi fights to kill, he might regret it later. Then the chapter ends with an eye of all things, interrupting the battle with what I assume to be like exploding or releasing some kind of energy. So now at the end of the chapter concerning this eye, and what I was thinking from reading on stuff and reading things like on Twitter and things like that on the end note, and from Megumi having an ally and things like that, let's just assume that this ally could be anyone. Just check some things off the list. It's an ally, check. Missing an eye, check. Has an exploding technique, check. And I swear Gigi is messing with us and playing with our feelings, because all these things look like that it could be the one and only Kugisaki Nobra. So Gigi really is going on to something, giving us all these clues and leading us on with this. But
you can't keep getting away with this.
Of course, it could be other allies too, as we see the crows at the end, which would, in my mind, thinking it's like Mei or something like that, could make an appearance, or given Yui's ability to teleport and things like that. And also another one-eyed character would be Maki Zenin, but I feel Maki would be at Panda's colony, given that that's what she said in a previous chapter that she would meet up with Panda, but actually she's free to go on whatever colony she wants to. She's not limited by cursed energy or anything like that. But anyway, all these options still could be new, and it could be something completely different or just be Reggie's curse technique. But please let me know what you guys think. I'm sure you guys have something more or know something more than I do. Keep your tinfoil hats on, because we still gotta go over what on God's green earth was Kenjaku doing meeting up with the Chinese government or whatever that higher faction was, because he was not there for social credits. But seriously, also I highly recommend watching my No More Humans video on that little iCard on the top right hand corner, or reading chapter 136 to get a little bit of better understanding and insight onto my reasoning that I'm about to go over on this. But in chapter 136, Yuki was having a conversation on the availability of cursed energy in the world, saying that Japan has a monopoly on cursed energy because of Tengen's barrier. So the ones who can actually use and optimize cursed energy efficiently would be Japan. That's why there's so many sorcerers in Japan. So the next stage of humanity either is relying on breaking away from cursed energy or optimizing cursed energy, now than Kenjaku and Yuki's opposing thoughts. And now Kenjaku is initiating a war for this cursed energy, now that it's not necessarily limited to Japan and this barrier is being broken down from Tengen and humans, and it's all just a mess. So this is the outcome that Yuki feared. Kenjaku is now meeting with those certain superpowers, China being one of them, and that is fitting because China is one of the most powerful nations on the planet. And now the existence of curses and the Jujutsu world is known. And these countries, they want their share. They want their bag. It's tax season. It's not your cursed energy. It's our cursed energy. So what I believe is that Kenjaku is striking a deal with China. And it's very far off, and even they invited Kenjaku to meet with them. So Kenjaku in some capacity can make it so that cursed energy is not limited to Japan, but is expanded over in some way overseas. And that really actually is plausible, because Kenjaku is the most powerful barrier user next to Tengen, and is theorized to be able to turn people into curses. That's what people think his curse technique might have been 1,000 years ago. And like it showed, him making the cursed wombs and everything like that, it is a little plausible for him to manipulate cursed energy in that sort of way. And that really is crazy. But in this chapter, all signs sort of point to this bomb that Kenjaku is hinted at dropping on when the game is done. And I think this bomb, like I was saying, is Kenjaku's apparent ability to make something beyond a curse or beyond a sorcerer, or something new that exceeds even his potential. And when I think about that, I think about an entity that kind of like Tengen, that is beyond the barriers or just off. And like something like Gojo or Sukuna, that's something supremely powerful, but just something that lingers beyond what is a curse and what is a sorcerer. And this bomb could definitely be it, and it really could be the next stage sort of humanity, so it could enter the next era, the Hien era, if you will, and next stage for humanity, at least through like an individual for a start, because Tengen said it would only take one person for this influence of darkness and evil to spread, so to speak. So this bomb could likely be the next evolution humanity thing, or it could even be something like cursed energy being spread overseas, and that would be extremely cool if GG was to implement something like that. But that's just my own take on it. Whatever the case is though, this really is a 10 out of 10 chapter, considering the massive info dump and the new info with Kenjaku and the bomb. It really is just a really good time to be a JJK fan, because GG and his team are really on some Togashi level stuff, and they're playing 4D chess right now in big brain mode. The possibilities are extremely fun to think about, and just the world building and the politics with the higher ups, including the higher ups in JJK, is very good to see. So Please do share what you guys think in the comments. I'd like to hear what you have to say as well. Anyways, please do remember to like, share, and subscribe to this video, and to share with more people so that they can share in the hype of Jujutsu Kaisen greatness as well. But thank you guys for watching. Remember as well to check out my previous animation video I did too. That took forever to make, and there were a lot of hidden JJK details. If you are a fan, there's a lot of references in that if you could spot them. But this has been Enemy Stand User, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you. Bye bye.